This was the scene outside of the Trump International Hotel in Chicago yesterday. A large billboard truck circling the building with a clear message for the president of the United States. Here's what it says, quote, "Do not come to Chicago. Fascists are not welcome." It's pretty direct right there on the big truck rolling around the Trump building. Now, this comes as we are learning that the Trump administration is planning a major immigration enforcement action in Chicago next week. The Trump administration has reportedly asked a nearby military base for help supporting the operation. That suggests they are planning a repeat of what we saw in Los Angeles just a few weeks ago, sending U.S. military resources into the streets of a major American city to help carry out mass deportations. This operation is separate from Trump's repeated threats to deploy the National Guard in Chicago over the issue of crime. Separate issue, despite the fact that the crime rate in Chicago is actually falling. If Trump follows through on that threat, it would be a repeat of the other military takeover we have watched play out in the streets of Washington, D.C. these past few weeks. All of this suggests that Trump is looking for any excuse he can muster to sow complete chaos and confusion in American cities run, of course, by Democrats. Today, multiple news outlets reported that Trump is planning a similar mass deportation operation in the city of Boston, which reportedly could take place shortly after his takeover of Chicago. Yesterday, Democratic governors from 19 states sent a letter to the White House warning them not to send federal troops into their cities. But the Trump administration is making it clear they plan to push forward anyway. Of course they do. Now, earlier today, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, we haven't heard from that guy in a while, but today he went on Fox News to issue this threat to the mayor of Chicago.
So when you get pushback as you head into Chicago from people like Mayor Johnson, what's your message to the mayor?
Get out of the way, because we're going to do it.
Don't expect the mayor to say that's his plan. Joining me now is that Chicago Mayor, Brandon Johnson. Mayor Johnson, thank you for being here with me. Let me just start by getting your reaction to what Tom Homan just said there this morning.
Well, thank you and good evening. Happy Labor Day weekend, Jen. Look, the city of Chicago is a remarkable place, right? It is the soul of America, and a city that was established by a Haitian immigrant and a Potawatomi woman, a city that was built on the working class values. And we have been a city for a very long time that has protected the interests of working people, and we're certainly not going to back down, cower, break, or be intimidated by these acts of tyranny. You know, clearly the federal government and the president of the United States of America is looking to engender chaos and turmoil across this country. And in the city of Chicago, we're not going to stand for it.
There are sort of, I just tried to outline this effectively and tell me anything I missed. I mean, clearly Chicago is like in the craw of Trump because there are two threats against Chicago coming from the administration right now. One is this big immigration crackdown. The other is Trump's threats to deploy the National Guard over crime. I mean, what does that say to you about their motivations and the fact that they're targeting your city?
Well, it's because there's clearly a disdain for working people. Instead of the federal government and the president of the United States of America focusing in on how we can drive unemployment down in our communities, how we can make sure that people can put food on their table, and to ensure that every single child has access to a high-quality education, he has done the opposite of that. He has, again, sown seeds of division and working to not only divide communities, but conquer them. What we're doing in Chicago is working. I've made critical investments in employment, particularly our young people. Over 31,119 young people had summer jobs, a 50% increase since I've taken office. I've expanded mental and behavioral health care services. We're on pace to build 10,000 affordable units by the end of my first term. And we've revamped our entire detectives bureau so that we can actually hold people accountable. And as a result of those investments, homicides are down 32%, shooting victims are down nearly 40%, robberies are down nearly 35%, vehicular carjackings are down almost 50%. There is more work to do. Don't misunderstand me. But what I know what works is that when you invest in people, and particularly communities that have been historically locked out of opportunities, that's how we build safe and affordable communities, not just across Chicago, but across America.
It's definitely not about the crime. I just want to simplify and reiterate for everybody watching, or any of these cities he's going after where crime has been coming down because of the actions of local communities, as you said. Now, Governor Pritzker offered an interesting theory for what this is all about. I just want to play that for you and get your reaction on the other side.
This is a part of his plan to do something really nefarious, which is to interfere with elections in 2026. He wants to have troops on the ground to stop people from voting, to intimidate people from going to the voting booth. So take note. That is what this is all about.
Well, I thought that was so interesting. I've been saying it's about normalizing military in the streets, which I definitely think that's part of it. But what do you think about this idea that it's actually about the next election?
Well, let me just, first of all, let's just say it. You know, the president has already made it very clear that he does not want another election. And we have to take those type of threats that he has put forward seriously. And it is quite obvious that he is not supportive of our Constitution. And that's really what it boils down to in this moment. Either you support the Constitution or you do not. And this president has literally trampled on the sensibility of what our democracy is all about. And so, you know, the city of Chicago, I can tell you this emphatically, we are not going to accept or nor are we calling for the occupation of our city by federal troops. In fact, no American city is calling for that. And this president has worked to make nonpartisan institutions. He has demonstrated over and over again that he is not committed to what we know to be true, is that our democracy really requires the full participation of every single person. What this president is looking to do is to divide communities. And that's why we've been incredibly firm in Chicago and cities across America that not only are we going to defend our democracy, we're going to make sure that we protect our humanity as well.